Congo. How we doing, sir?
Oh, doing all right, Mr. Corey. How are you?
Tell me, you've been pretty slammed recently, right?
Corey, I've been slammed, which is great. Cafe's been really busy. Church has been wild, as you know. It's a whole new world, and it's a lot of work, but it's been fun working with everybody. You know, we worked with each other for a long time and never worked with each other. And it's something I've really enjoyed. It'll all work out.
Indeed. And man, I think we've all been pleasantly surprised by how smoothly New Hope's transitioned to an online and virtual format with no heads up whatsoever and zero practice of it over the course of our 13 years of existence.
Zero. I think our first 3 services were pulled off like from the Thursday before. I mean, we said, hey, we aren't having church. We've got to do something. And everybody pulled together. It was really awesome to see. Tiring, but awesome to see.
Jacob, how long have you been doing this? Have you been doing worship stuff since the beginning?
Since the beginning of New Hope, yeah. Yeah.
Not since Genesis 1?
Not that far. So yeah, let's see, June 1st, I think, is my 13th work anniversary at New Hope.
Dude, give me one. Proud of you. That's awesome.
Sometimes it feels shorter. Sometimes it feels longer.
What did the original incarnation of the praise team look like?
Well, I was singing for St. Luke's downtown Oklahoma City. I had been at Quail on the praise team and then gone to St. Luke's, started singing there. And I get a call after our first service. I would go to Starbucks and get ready for the second service. And Susan Jones and Karen Farrell, who I had sang with at Quail, called me and said, we need you here. And I ran up to Creekside, the little wedding chapel up on Western where we were meeting. I did not know the songs, so they ran over the songs with me like at 10 o'clock.
This was day of?
Oh, day of.
So you did your service, you're at Starbucks, you get the call, and you're off to the chapel.
Yeah, that's right. So we rushed back into a little classroom that we had at the wedding chapel. Okay. And Susan and Karen were singing the parts in my ears, so we could get the songs down. I know my face was 50 shades of red. And they had already put out a sign-up sheet for the praise team. And so there was 2 rows of singers up on the front row. That was the praise team. And I was scared to death, but we made it through the first Sunday. And I guess the rest is history.
There are very few things that sound more New Hope than that series of events.
Exactly.
And somebody.
Exactly. Spirit's moving.
Had you ever done anything like that, or were you just singing with St. Luke's and part of praise team?
Singing with St. Luke's.
Okay.
I was singing on the praise team at Quail Springs. I had never led a praise team. I grew up leading singing, but getting up there and, waving your hand around at the podium is a little different than actually leading a group of singers. So that was a new experience. It was all new.
Was there any ambition for that, or was it sort of a just spirit-led thing entirely?
Completely spirit-led. I had actually already had a deposit on an apartment in Boston, and I was supposed to be heading out in a couple of weeks. And to to pursue a singing career. I had just graduated with my master's in opera from OCU, and that was the plan, to head to Boston. So New Hope happened, and then I started working with someone that went to New Hope, and we had the wedding chapel. And I just kind of felt like it was a Jonah moment, except I got to see the whale, and it was like, I don't want to be swallowed by that, you know? And so everything just kind of fell into place.
Dude, that's nuts.
It's nuts.
I didn't know any of that. I mean, you had to have had pretty strong conviction at that point to just change course and pivot.
It was very clear, yeah. I had nothing in Boston. It was just kind of a leap of faith. And then I had 2 jobs come at me, all within the matter of a few days, that would keep me here. And I had to do a lot of thinking, but here I am.
Praise God for the end result.
I'm a Canadian, yes.
You're a Canadian and a Texan that lives in Oklahoma. How
That's right. Born and raised in Canadian Texas until 5th grade, and then my parents moved us to Elk City, Oklahoma. I'm from Merritt, actually, it's a suburb of the metropolis of Elk City.
Okay. What was high school version of Jacob like?
Oh, FFA.
Really?
Yeah, president of Merritt FFA.
All right.
Scott. Raised pigs for 7 or 8 years.
Was your aspiration within just like agriculture, doing stuff with land and animals?
My family it's a farming family.
Okay, so that's where your roots are.
They still farm in southwest Oklahoma from the land run. And Andra's family does as well, but they're in northern Oklahoma. Okay. So farm the same place for about 127 years.
That's pretty cool. So what all do they, like, is it just farm all kinds of whatever you can imagine out on their property, or do they specify?
My grandparents are more cotton.
Okay.
Andra's parents are more cattle, wheat.
Was that a pretty big bonding point, I can only assume, when y'all met?
That was pretty big. Yeah, and so we were both, I don't know how you get to opera from there, but so I was working on my opera degree. She was working on her graduate degree in children's theater. And so we were both in the arts, and we lived at the same apartment building in grad school, and we met while walking dogs.
Was that in Oklahoma City?
Yeah, Oklahoma City University on 23rd.
Okay. What's that program like?
Incredible. I mean, it's one of the top music programs in the country. I did my undergraduate and graduate in 5.5, and she did her undergraduate at Oklahoma Baptist, and then she came to grad school after she moved to New York City for a couple of years. And then she came back for her graduate degree, and that's when we met. She was teaching at a performing arts high school on an off-Broadway theater right there off of Times Square.
That sounds cool. Did she like it?
Oh, I think so. I mean, New York is magic, but it's hard to live there. It's not a home, it's a place to visit, I think.
Being around the same time, were you and Andra already dating, or had y'all just met, and what did that look like from there?
Andra and I had met. I think we were friends, but we weren't dating for another couple of years, not until we moved into City Bites Church.
Okay.
The warehouse. And that is when Andra first started coming to church with me. And that's where she fell in love with New Hope, was at the warehouse. That's when she started singing on the praise team. I think Andra grew up singing in church, and so she always loved to do that. And so that was just kind of her outlet for, yeah. And now Andra and I, this is our 10th anniversary is coming up in November. Yeah, we had a trip booked to New York City. It was coming up in like 6 weeks or something. We were going over Thanksgiving, and so we just decided to get married before we went. So the whole church thought she was pregnant, but not the case. I mean, you got to catch a show or two while you're up there, but we're walkers. Central Park, walking through the buildings, getting lost in town and Alphabet City and scaring yourself. That's what we like. You've got to go, but you need to go like after Thanksgiving when the Christmas windows are up at all of the shops at Saks Fifth Avenue and Macy's. I mean, that's just magic.
Yeah.
But that's our favorite.
Coming up on a 10-year anniversary, but y'all have big plans for that, or is it in the works type of thing?
Everything's one day at a time right now, Corey.
Good answer. Good answer. Couldn't pry it out of you. How much of our church do you think knows that you and Andra have a restaurant and what your week looks like?
5%. 10, maybe 10.
How has the pandemic been on YouTube? I mean, like work-wise, y'all are in a totally different realm of life outside of church and praise team stuff on a Monday through Friday basis. Talk about what this has been like.
It's been rough and busy, which is great, but we are jumping through hoops to keep things open, keep our employees employed, and the coffee shop runs 7 o'clock to 3 o'clock Monday through Friday, and then after that is when you've got to cook to get ready for the next day. So it's long days, it's hard days sometimes, but it's worth it.
Y'all have been having a pretty good influx of business, right?
We have, yeah. We're in the Continental Resources building downtown. And so they were buying everybody's lunch to try to get them to come back to the office. And so that really helped us a lot.
Like, are y'all bakery, kitchen?
Yeah, we've got a coffee shop. We do little bakery caves. We've got the full breakfast menu and lunch menu.
Yeah.
We're actually in the underground have you been down to the underground?
I have one time, yeah.
So if you walk into the Continental building, we are just right downstairs. So it's open atrium, so we get sunlight. We're not in a tunnel.
That's nice.
But we're still considered the concourse or the underground.
Okay.
We don't have a kitchen downtown, so we rent a kitchen out by OSU OKC out on Portland. Really, we cater in every day.
You don't think about how the food gets there if you show up for lunch and the food's there. If you're the one having to get the food there.
And then you got 100 pounds of bacon a week. And that's what they're working on right now.
That sounds delicious.
Oh, it is.
I mean, 100 pounds of bacon a week, sold.
We've made one new hire. She just walked in the door here. But we're making it. Everyone's plate is very full, but it's been good. There's a good synergy. You're fired.
Unfortunate timing for that.
No, I started piano in 2nd grade.
Okay.
And then, I took that for most of my life. and then have a minor in piano for most of you.
Okay. Kookaburra has no work, he has no work to do. He sits up in the tree and lurks to catch a thing or two. And when he bites a thing or two, he laughs right out with glee. Ha 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 ha. Hee, 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 hee. Take a good breath before that. But Kookaburra, yeah, I remember that one from middle school. I don't know, is that a bird? Is that a real thing?
I think it's a bird. Andra sings that song, but that's not a warm-up I ever had.
Really?
We had the old man from Calcutta. There was an old man from Calcutta who had a most terrible stutter. He said, pa, 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 please pass the cheese. And the ba, 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 butter.
You nailed the dismount.
That's why I love New Hope.
We embrace the crazy, man. We just
embrace the crazy. That's right. That's why I love it.
Man, never a body of people in a church construct like this that I've found. Period.
Andra was raised Baptist.
Okay.
With mom playing the piano every Sunday morning.
All right.
And then, so she started, I grew up in the Church of Christ. You know, I was done with the Church of Christ. I kind of thought it was based on traditions. I thought they say they speak where the Bible speaks and is silent where the Bible is silent, but I think there's a lot of verses they were mumbling through. And I was kind of done with that. And I think traditions were used to divide us, not to bring us closer together. And so that's why they found me at St. Luke's. I was done. And New Hope changed my thought process. Yeah, we have traditions, but they're based in love. It turned into that. It was not a job at first. It was just someone coming to fill in, just to fill the need. And then they called me that Sunday after church. How did it even turn into a job? I don't even know. It's all just a blur. It was all happening so fast, but I think they offered me a job within 2 or 3 weeks of my first Sunday at the wedding chapel church.
Okay.
I do want to say how proud I am of our praise team. I mean, for really hunkering down and pulling together and pulling the music videos together every Sunday morning, and our third Sunday team for taking the bull by the horns and getting up there and leading worship. And what a blessing. I'm just real proud of them.
As you should be, yeah. Within the authenticity of New Hope, as much as anything, Praise Team, Munchkin Minute, Living Water, those are the 3 things that people seem to really connect with, and having just bites of it, and knowing how much work those videos have to take to put together. Like, it's been a huge blessing to have whatever we can get from that group of people.
They have been so much work, but the good part is you don't have to wear pants.
Well, I'm appreciative, man, of just everything you do. Your work's a blessing.
Thank you, Corey.
Yeah.
This was fun. Okay. All right,
man. Well, thank you, and have a great rest of your Tuesday.
Love you, brother.
Love you too, man. We'll see you.
Bye.